Um, Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Sabi Onyoike. I'm the Director of Growth at Ubongo. Thank you for making time to come out for our launch of the new show. But who is Ubongo and why are we doing what we're doing here today? So a bit of a background, Ubongo is a not-for-profit organization that is founded and based in Africa. Our headquarters is in Tanzania, and we create educational but entertaining content for the kids. The goal being that through entertainment, you can feed in educational concepts that are fun to learn and will help improve the learning outcomes of kids across Africa. And with me is my colleague. I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Anna Tigongi and I'm the User Research Manager.
Thank you. So why Nuzo and Namia? What is Nuzo and Namia and why are we here today? So Nuzo and Namia is a show that's designed for the 6 to 9 year old, and the conception of this show was born out of a need to see how we can support what is already happening in the educational system to improve literacy, specifically through learning and reading comprehension. Is that right?
Yes.
And so it's been a journey to get us here. We started conceptualizing this about 2 years ago, iterating and changing it as we go along. And finally we're here at the moment where we're able to launch it. Nuzo and Namia is going to be a 13 episode season that's going to take the kids across different countries in Africa, where the key themes of conversation around the show would be around literacy, again as I mentioned, comprehension, through reading, learning, and exploring the curiosity that kids have. I think it's worth to mention at this point that this has really come to life out of the support of the Lego Foundation, who saw and believed in the goal that we had. And they said, you know what, we're happy to jump in with this. We're happy to jump in and do this with you guys. So we're very grateful to the Lego Foundation for supporting us to it. So how is the show structured specifically? It follows the story of Nuzo and Namia, who were twins. And they had a very strong bond with their grandmother, but unfortunately before the show started, they lost their grandmother. And to try and cope with that, they moved to the grandmother's home, where as kids will always be curious and everything, rummaging through the house, they discover this bookshelf, a magic bookshelf as it were. And once they start flipping through the books, they realize that they're transported into the books, exploring different lands, different countries across Africa. Within the story itself, they're supported by a magical creature called Boogalan, who helps to demystify the concepts and nuances that are happening around the story itself. The show is segmented in 6 parts, where broadly speaking, the intro really builds context of what the show is about. And then the starting part would talk about the key themes around the episode itself, what the kids will learn through that episode. And then there's an animated section where we're transported into this magical world in the different countries of Africa with the kids, Nuzo and Namia. And then there's a live action part, and the live action part is really directed to the parents, caregivers, teachers, the adults who form the ecosystem that supports learning for the kids, to help them understand what's the word I want to use? Helps them think about how to better support their kids in their journey through learning. At this point, I think what I also want to mention about the show is that we took on a very ambitious project with this show of seeing how we could start mainstreaming and having conversations around neurodiversity. And neurodiversity, we're talking about autism, ADHD, just trying to demystify it across the continent, encouraging kids, parents to know how to support parts of the audience, part of the community that have different types of neurodivergence, whether it's ADHD or autism. I'm going to pause there and see if Annette wants to add anything.
Well, I was going to add on the last part, so you kind of preempted me. So no, I don't have anything more to add. Just really excited to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, and then that's it about Nuzo and Namia as a brief overview. I'll pause and see if there's any questions or anything I might need to clarify for them.
So where is it, so after this, where would it be predominantly streamed or available?
Oh, good question.
Locations, yeah.
Good question. So, in South Africa, we're currently airing on Cape Town TV, which outside Cape Town can be accessed on DSTV. We're also going to be streaming it through DBE, which is part of the Twinable org. And on top of that, we will also be exploring how to get it on platforms like YouTube. But really, I think one of the key things that has made us do this at this time with Nuzo and Namia and this launch in this way is because as a Bongo, we see our vision of our content and our intervention is that, to use an African adage, it takes a village to raise a child, no? And we're looking to build this village. And while we are present on those channels and those platforms, we're really looking to see how we can engage with more partnerships, to see how then more audiences can be able to access the content. Yeah. Any other question? Anyone who needed clarification? We're really excited to have you here. It's a really exciting journey for us, a 2-year journey that then comes to fruition in this way. So we're really excited to see how this goes.
And we're really excited to answer every question.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Oh, this is so fantastic. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Sami Onyoike. I'm the director of Global Bongo. Welcome to the screening of our new show, Nuzo and Namia. I wanted to introduce a couple of my colleagues, but I guess everyone is all over the place. So I'll be very brief and tell you why we're all here and get to the movie. Sounds like a plan? All right, coolly. So, Nuzo and Namia. Does someone's friend missing? All right. So what is Nuzo and Namia? Nuzo and Namia is a story of 7-year-old twins who, through the help of a magical creature called Bubala, travel across different countries in Africa, discovering culture, exciting things that are happening in different countries, but more importantly, getting to improve their learning skills, specifically comprehension by listening and reading. That sounds like a very, very generic start to this conversation. So I'll pull it back a bit. For us to get here, it's been about 2-year journey for us to get this show up and running. In those 2 years, as a Bongo, we had a vision of creating a show for 6 to 9-year-olds, but we weren't sure what that show was going to be. And we had a few iterations that finally got us to Nuzo and Namia. Among the key things that we thought we wanted to highlight in this conversation was around neurodiversity. Specifically under neurodiversity, the themes we're looking to explore is autism and ADHD, with a mind on how can we help people to understand more about what neurodiversity is and be more accommodating of audiences with neurodiversity. Alrighty. So Nuzo and Namia follows the story of the twins, Nuzo and Namia, who traveled to magical worlds through a bookshelf that they discovered in their grandmother's house. They had a very strong bond with their grandmother, but unfortunately, before the show starts, they lose their grandmother. And to cope, the family moves to the grandmother's house and the kids discover this magical book. And every time they open it, they're transported into a different land, a different world. And there they explore and solve puzzles and utilize their curiosity to learn about the world around them, the different cultures. But through this, the idea is to see if kids can improve their learning outcomes, specifically reading and listening comprehension. I'm going to pause there and hope that I've teased it enough and give us a chance to see Nuzo and Namia get to see this journey. We start with Eswatini in this episode that we're going to screen. So let's get to the movie. Sounds like a plan? Thank you. And very quickly, I just want to mention that I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues here. I'll just mention the names and they could wave in the interest of time. So I'm seeing Annette. Annette is our head of user research and testing. This is her baby in one or another. And I'm sure you've all met Unati. You've met Pumi at the front desk. And the gentleman with the camera standing in front of here is Tumelo TK. And he's going to be capturing this moment for us. So, welcome all, or as we say in Kiswahili, karibuni sana. Woo! Thank you. I have a question. Does anyone want to tell me what their superpower is? A lot of hands going up. Let's start again. Yay!
Yeah. Kindness and being nice to people.
Oh. Woohoo! Kindness is a superpower.
There's one more over here.
Okay.
My superpower is help and also sharing. My superpower is being creative.
Thank you very much. Oh, there's one more.
My superpower is kindness.
You want to say? No? There's one more.
Oh.
My superpower is to draw.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope it was fun for everyone. Oh, there's a few hands up there. Do you want to tell us your superpowers? Okay.
Superpower is showing love and care to others. My superpower is to help the others.
Thank you. You're over to such. I love your superpowers. Maybe I need to start thinking about what mine is. So that was episode 1 of Nuzo and Namia, and I'm joined up here by my colleague Annette, the head of user testing and research. And we just want to get some thoughts from you. If there's any questions, if there's anything that you'd like us to clarify, we are happy to do it. Does anyone have any questions for us? Anything they'd like to know about the show? Anyone? Okay, it's a question.
Hi, I'm Cindy Banda. Name and surname always. Thank you so much for such a wholesome experience. The question at hand is with regards to representation, what stereotypes through this beautiful, beautiful work that you are doing are you breaking on a local level, continental level, and global level?
Thanks for that question. Annette, do you want to go?
Thank you very much for the question. So we hope that through Nuzo and Namia, we can start deeper conversations around neurodiversity, just because after a lot of research that we have been doing all around, it's very evident that a lot of people shy away from this conversation, and we do have a lot of people living with people who are neurodivergent. So that element of inclusion and like how we all think differently, we process information differently. It's the type of conversation we hope that we can start having. And this is just like the first episode, but then we are planning to like include more such conversations and deeper conversations, and even have like specialists so that we can start having such kind of stuff. And then also through our other cartoons, we do make it a point to include children who are different, you know, children who have different disabilities, but then also shedding light on how important it is for us to like embrace each other, because we all are special and everyone brings something special to the table. So
Thank you, Nan. And maybe I'll ask a question on that, Cindy, if you don't mind. This is to the parents in the room. In the last segment, there was a conversation about normal and abnormal, and the way that doesn't exist. Looking at the show, the animated part, was there anything that stood out to you if you think about normal and abnormal?
I think it's very important for us to use the correct words when we speak, because normal and abnormal, that's not the way to use. But to use differently, it's very important. And we need to really learn how to speak and the words that we choose, because it's very important how it will impact a child. Okay? That's all from us.
I think also one of the few things I picked up from the screen is that we need to teach our children, especially from an early age, not to compare themselves. I think we grew up hearing our parents say comparison is the thief of joy, but I also say not comparing yourself is a form of loving and appreciating the fact that you are different, and also just reminding them that just because they are not able to do a certain thing doesn't take away from their humanness, you know, and the variety is indeed the spice of life.
Thank you for that. There's a question up there.
It's not a question. I just want to say, in terms of when we talk to our kids, we have to make sure that if maybe a child, as I mentioned, that maybe he's an athlete, he needs to embrace that. And then if he's not an athlete, he also has to embrace other kids. And the minute when a kid accepts what she can do, she actually builds confidence, and then she can be able to face any challenge that he or she meets along the way as she goes on.
Thank you. Oh, there's a thought here.
Good day, everyone. So about Nuzo and Namia, I would really love for it to be in like the school curriculum, just because of the story it tells. I feel like how the curriculum goes doesn't necessarily portray specific individuals as different, and they show them in other ways, and it affects a child's mind as they grow up, hence they stay with that type of mindset. So I'd really love if Nuzo and Namia was in school curriculums and really change the minds of young children.
That's a very, very powerful statement. Thank you for that. There's a hand up front.
Okay, also for me as well, like I would love for it to actually reach the schools so that many people are involved in actually realizing that when we're raising children, we should mostly narrate the positives. We should look more at the things that they are actually able to do, and not base our standards on what children aren't able to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other burning question about Nuzo and Namia that we happily clarify? Yes, indeed.
Just going back to representation, have you ever had any backlash in terms of predominantly black characters in the work that you do, from what I've seen and viewed now?
So that's a great question, and I'll start off and Annette can help me out. Backlash, no. Interestingly, what we have found is that across the continent there's a genuine desire to see more representation of who we are, content made by us, for us, has been the journey that we've experienced. And I think what gives us the strength and really affirming why we need to continue doing what we're doing is that realization that whether the show is aired in South Africa or in West Africa, just because it's representative, because we try to be as representative as possible of the different people across the continent, with really mainstreaming the idea that it's an African show made by Africans for Africans, has gone a long way. And we're really looking to maintain that and even expand how we can have a more Pan-African feel to our shows.
That's okay with the mic. So does every episode have the segments at the end going into Bill talking to people about things, that educational element, or was this just for the first episode?
So yes, so every episode does have like this, like the format is the same, but then we go into different African countries and we learn different comprehension skills, you know. So it's like that's basically the format that we are going to be using, at least for this first season, because afterwards, again, we're going to do a lot of like impact evaluations and just try and see what's the best way forward. But yeah.
And how many episodes are ready now?
About 2, I think.
Yes, we have 2 episodes ready that over the coming week is going to launch on the different broadcast stations that we have. The show itself is going to be a 13-season series, so we project that at least over the next 13 weeks, we should have a new episode coming out. Yes, a lovely question.
And my last superpower is to share.
I feel like that's the highlights to end on. One second. But before we end, I think I'd like to thank you all for making time to come out today. It's so heartfelt for us to see everyone coming in and coming to see this show that we've created. The questions, the comments really affirm that we're on the right track. So thank you all for making time to come and view this with us here today. And you can also just know that this is the first time ever Nuzo and Namia has been screened in South Africa. So you guys are you're the kids, you just caught it at the start, right? As thank yous go, I think it's also important to recognize all the hard work that has gone into putting this show together. There's a very dedicated team that Annette could speak to as well, that has spent countless nights, days, putting this show together, from the research side, getting it into the scripting phase, finally actually doing the production, to seeing what we're seeing here. So I just want to say a big thank you to the team who have done that. And of course, for us to be here today, there's a team that's done quite a lot of event planning, management, accepting the few tantrums I would throw every now and then, wanting to come. But really, I have to say a big thank you to them for just making sure that we were able to have this experience and get to see this show as we have right now. I think in closing remarks, and then I can hand it over to Annette, this is just a start, and I've mentioned it before, but I think, especially in South Africa, what we're really keen to do is build this village that, the African adage, it takes a village. We're really keen to see how we can build partnerships across South Africa so that then this content can be part of the change that we're seeing. To your point, we'd really, really love to see more people taking up this content, more people creating such content, and just creating an ecosystem that will support what's already happening in the education system. So that would be my parting conversation. Annette?
I think you said pretty much most of the stuff, but then I would just like to add that we really do take your views and your questions and all the things that you've raised here very, very seriously. We really appreciate that. And on that village that Sammy is speaking on, we would really like for you to give feedback and just really just move forward so that we can know, because for us what we believe is like we center everything that we create around the child, and the caregivers, and especially the African child. So we really hope that moving forward, we can create like partnerships so that, we can eventually get these programs in schools. Like that would be the biggest dream, but I think we can all do it together and, by naming names here and there. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. That was the introduction to Nuzo and Namia. And we more or less come to the end of this conversation side. We don't want to keep talking and having about this. We'd also like to screen another of our shows. If you'd like to continue staying in, please feel free and welcome. This is Ubongo Kids, and what we'll show you is Ubongo Kids, Season 6, Episode 1. And the reason we thought it's important for us to share and screen it alongside Nuzo and Namia is because this specific episode spoke to the theme of inclusivity. So we're just going to screen Ubongo Kids Season 6 and Season 6 Episode 1, and feel free to leave at your own leisure during, after, well, really after. But once again, thank you everyone. Thank you. The team is going to be around. If anyone does want to come and have a conversation with us, we're always happy to engage and hear more about what we could improve, what we could learn, or how we could build this village together. Thank you all.